It's for timing for TV.
I think that clock's off, thank you.
Recording. Good evening. We call to order this meeting of the Wendell Board of Commissioners and welcome everyone here tonight. If you'll join us, our police chief, Bill Carter, is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Chief. Our invocation tonight is by the Wendell First Baptist Church, Reverend James Lee. Reverend Lee, come up here.
Good evening. We are very pleased to be here again tonight, and we consider it to be another honor. And we address the Mayor, Gray, and commissioners, and dignitaries who are here, and to the presence of those who in audience. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for another time to come before you, and we pray as we come that you will be with us and be with this body, that they may continue to carry out their duties that dispensed before them. We pray, oh God, that you will enter their minds and their hearts to carry out this dispensation for the citizens of Wendell. We thank you for what they done and is doing and going to do. We know that their hands are filled and time is not on their hands like they should be, like they want it to be, but you spare them the time to carry out this business, and we love you for it and we praise you for it. We now, Lord, ask that you will continue to guide us and direct our pathway as we go from day to day. Be with these, guide them, direct them in the manner in which you see that they might go. We know that all things work together for them that love you and call for your purpose. And the purpose tonight, Father God, is for your presence. These blessings we ask in your name. Amen.
Thank you so much. Do I have an adjustment of the agenda? Any adjustments?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to add an item to the agenda labeled 9A, discussion action of proposed mural at 235 Cook Street.
Okay.
With that addition, then I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the agenda as adjusted. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
No one has signed up tonight for public comment. Have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
A motion to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, item number 4 is a presentation by Capital Area Workforce Development, and we're going to be hearing from Mr. Eric Bright. You'll come up here and introduce those with you, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us. My name's Eric Bright. I'm Strategic Initiatives Director with Capital Area Workforce Development Board, and my director, Pat, had met with Patrick at some point, and Patrick suggested it'd be wonderful if we could talk with you all about the work that we do to support the needs of job seekers and businesses in Wendell and throughout Wake and Johnston counties. So,
Okay.
Joining me are Daryl Blevins, Director of the Eastern Regional Center, who will be talking to us about how we serve job seekers at our career centers, and also Susan Johnston, business, what is your title?
Business consultant
Thank
in
you.
the Capital Area.
Business consultant, who will be talking with us about how we support the needs of businesses and their hiring needs. So, thank you again. So I'm going to be giving a 10,000-foot level of Capital Area Workforce Development Board. We are one of 23 boards that serve the state of North Carolina. Our footprint, our territory is Wake and Johnston counties. Our work is federally funded. It's money that originates at the Department of Labor. It goes to the state division.
If I can stop you a second,
Please.
You're getting softer and softer. Can you pull that up? There
Yep.
you go. I think it's creeping down. Okay.
Money that, federal money that
Correct.
supports our work, starts at the Department of Labor. It goes to the Department of Commerce, Division of Workforce Solutions, and then it gets distributed to the boards throughout the state. Our annual budget's about $7 million. We provide planning and oversight of the NC Works Career Centers located throughout Wake and Johnston counties. Some of you might know them. They were known as the Job Link Centers, been rebranded, I would say, 3-4 years ago as NC Works Career Centers. We also oversee the work of NC Works Next Gen, which is our program that serves the needs of young adults ages 16 to 24. And we also work in close partnership with many others, supporting strategic initiatives to support the needs of job seekers and employers, partners such as Wake County Public Schools, Wake Tech, Wake County Economic Development, and many others. This is a map of the location of the career centers located in Wake and Johnston counties that we operate. There are 9. Our largest career center is located on Tillery, just off of Capitol Boulevard between downtown and 440. We also have career centers at each of the county's regional centers, including the Eastern Regional Center, which Darrell will be talking more about, Cary, Clayton, and we have a center actually located at the National Guard office as well, specifically targeting the needs of veterans as well. We serve adults and dislocated workers. Dislocated workers are people who've been individuals let go from their job through the career centers, ages 18 and above, those unemployed and underemployed. We also serve disconnected youth through, as I said, the NC Works Next Gen program. The priority of our youth program is to serve out-of-school youth, those not attending school, and those low income, in foster care, homeless, or who have parents or are pregnant, and we do serve in-school youth as well. I will turn it over to Darrell to talk specifically about the Career Center, the work that we do in the Career Center.
Good evening, Mayor. Thanks for having me again so soon. It's always a pleasure to come down and talk with you guys. This is probably one of the proudest things that I think we have recently incorporated into the Eastern Regional Center. As you guys know, it's a Wake County facility, and we have a lot of human services related programs such as food stamps, Medicaid, and things of that nature. A couple of years ago, we were licensed as a Level 2 Career Center, and one of the things that we had an opportunity to do was during the renovations, is to expand our Career Center that's in our main lobby. And so we have 10 workstations in that center now. Our traffic is in the center as a whole is probably between 3,000 and 5,000 people per month. In the Career Center, our foot traffic is probably somewhere around 1,300 people per month that come in the Career Center, and that's duplicated numbers. We count everybody that comes in, whether it's their first time or their second time, and we hope, that's our hope, is to get them to come in and really concentrate on job search. And so we have an opportunity to do a lot of work experience. So we take a lot of our participants who are involved in social services programs and give them opportunities for work experience and trying to place them to different places in the community. We had a relationship with the Chamber of Commerce, and the Chamber in Zebulon, and they do a lot of work experience for us as well as other businesses around the area. A lot of job referrals, working with our business consultants, and one of my colleagues here today is going to talk a little bit more about that. We get an opportunity to help them with resume and interview preparations, things of that night. A lot of job search assistance has been done, because the way folks find jobs now is different. It's not like it used to be. Now, the days of going to the newspaper and going to the classifieds, that's over. And so a lot of our folks, particularly in the eastern part of the county, they have had a difficult time trying to figure out, how do I get a job now? It used to be, word of mouth or look at the newspaper, but, this is a completely different environment now when you talk about job search. And it's almost like an art. You really have to learn how to job search. And through the career centers, we've been able to really educate a lot of families on 21st century job search and been successful.
We also have scholarship opportunities, so when folks come in, they work with a talent developer that works with them on skill building, and sometimes there's opportunities for them to get scholarships to be able to pick up another trade, whether it's they want to go to truck driving school, they want to be a nursing assistant, things of that nature. So we do a lot of placements in those areas as well. A lot of workshops. Try to do as many workshops as we can in the area, just helping folks be prepared to job search and to get employment. And then, of course, our supportive services. The really unique thing about being in our regional centers, we have this natural built-in supportive service environment. Because a lot of times when folks are between jobs, they have healthcare needs, they may have food needs, they may need assistance with their energy bills or light bills, may need some food assistance. We can automatically connect those folks to those services in between their job search. And that's sort of, you know, a really unique thing about having this service in the regional center. It is a great partnership. It is an absolutely phenomenal partnership. We have had the opportunity to have hiring events, and the business consultant is going to talk a little bit about the services that they offer to businesses. But we have pretty much monthly hiring events, and they're not job fairs, they're hiring events. This is where employers, through our business consultants, they have vacant positions. They go out in the NC Works, put job orders out there, and we source that hiring event. Meaning that if they got 5 jobs or 15 jobs, we go through our database, try to find matching potential employees, and they'll come on site and they do hiring events on site. And we've been very successful with that. We've also had some opportunities to do some specialized or just sort of like, there was a manufacturing company over in Zebulon that went out of business. 75 people lost their jobs. So we were able to work with our business consultant to locate numerous manufacturing companies throughout the county, and we did an on-site hiring event for the folks who had lost their jobs, the ones that hadn't found other employment, which was really, really a great response to something that is really difficult for families. So, you know, we get an opportunity through our Career Center to really do some innovative things and working with employers and working with individual family members and trying to get them employed. And we're looking for things in the future. We really want to focus more on our youth. I've talked to Eric and I've talked to some businesses in the community about doing some apprenticeship type things. And for some of these kids that's in high school that maybe they don't want to go to college, and we can work with Wake Tech and try to come up with some type of an apprenticeship program. We've been talking with U.S. Foods about the possibility of doing that with some of our youth, and just trying to get them, for those folks who just want to get a job when they get out of high school, and trying to set up some programs where they can make that transition quite easy. So we're just excited about the opportunity that's been presented to us. This is a great resource for the eastern part of the county. In the past, if you wanted assistance, you had to try to get from here to Capitol Boulevard to Tillery Place. It's not on a bus route, not from out here, and it's a long ways to go. And you have to be able to get to that career center. You got to get in there every day until you find a job. You can't just go once a month. I mean, it's something you got to pretty much go in and really work hard to try to get that job. So having that resource here in the eastern part of the county is just a phenomenal thing. I think it's probably one of the, like I said, it's one of the proudest things that I think we do right now in trying to help families, you know, giving them a hand up versus a hand out, and really helping them develop their skills so they can be self-sufficient and support their families. So with that being said, that's about it for me.
Hi, my name is Susan Johnston, and I'm actually a business consultant out of the Tillery Place Career Center. We call it a one-stop because it is the largest in the county. We are centrally located. And there are 4 of me. Well, not just like me, but the county has been divided into 4 regions, and each region has a business consultant. Earl, who works in the eastern Wake County area, he actually couldn't be here tonight, so I'm here in his place to talk to you about how we reach out to employers. We focus on the employers in our territory, letting them know about the services that are available from the state and the federal government. We are funded through federal grants. Some of the services we offer to employers are what Daryl touched on, an internship or a paid work experience, where we take someone who has come into our center, maybe needed some additional training, they get a medical assistant certificate or administrative assistant certificate or diesel mechanic or whatever it is, but they actually have no experience. So it's very difficult for them to go out and get a job, even though they have the certification. Through our internship program, they're actually paid through the state, but they will go and work for 480 hours, a couple days short of 3 months, for the employer as their employee, gaining that experience that now allows them to compete in the job market. And this is a win-win situation because the employer gets somebody who's really willing to learn and work hard. And the employee, the job seeker, gets the experience. We have found that about 90% of the employers that participate in the internship program wind up hiring their intern on a full-time basis. So it really works in developing the workforce, and it gives the employer a resource, a vital resource. Another thing that we offer through our career centers is something called on-the-job training, where let's say there is an employer is looking for a certain employee and find someone they love, but they're missing maybe a certain skill set. Well, we can actually put together, along in conjunction with the employer, a paid, like a subsidy for them to hire and train on the job. This is a service that I can't even tell you how many businesses. I think we did 120 last year, and we're on track to do, well, I know more than that this year. I don't have the numbers because we're still we haven't ended our first quarter yet, but I know we're projecting more than that, where the employer gets an employee perfectly trained to what they need, and again, the job seeker gets the job they want, and they have learned more in their trade. Some of the other services we provide for the employers is labor market research. We are tied in to the labor market, and we can tell them in real time, within 2 days, what average wages being paid for the job in their area are, how many of those positions are open. It gives them a great resource. We had a company come in, they need to expand by 60 places. It's a company called Thrive. They are a full-service medical billing company. And they're coming in out of Atlanta, had no idea what the wages were, and they came in and said, well, we'd like to pay $8 to $9 an hour for 2 years experience. Well, this is a highly competitive marketplace, and right now, as I know you're all aware, we're considered pretty much a fully employed market at 3.3 unemployment. So there are more jobs than people to fill them right now in certain areas. So I gave him this research, explained to him what the competitors were paying. Well, we've held now our third hiring event for them, and they have hired, well, today they hired 5 people at $14 an hour. So here, because of our service and the research we were able to provide them, they came in with very competitive pay structure and were able to help fill their void. Some of the other things we do, as Daryl touched on, is we do have industry roundtables where we get together with the employers and we discuss trends coming up, where they're going to see their future needs for, and what kind of training programs we can provide to the job seekers to provide them with the employees they need. And we have job markets in most of our centers, job fairs, as we do like in the Swinburne down near Big Wake Met. We have one each month. About 18 to 20 employers show up. We have hiring events at our centers for the employer. And we work with the local schools in bringing the employers in to talk to them, particularly like Wake Tech. Does anybody have any questions about what we do? Okay, well, I've been with them now since March, and it's really a tremendous service we provide for both the employers, and every employer I've worked with says, gee, we didn't know you guys offered this. So thank you for helping us get the word out to the employers.
Yes, ma'am, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Our information, contact information is there if you need to
Okay.
reach us. And the handout you have, the packet is specifically for information about how we work with businesses as well. So,
Great, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is a request by the Wendell Chamber of Commerce to host the Wendell Chamber Banquet at the Wendell Community Center. Mr. Pulaski.
Evening. Madam Mayor, Commissioners, the Wendell Chamber of Commerce requests a fee waiver to host their Wendell Chamber Banquet at the Wendell Community Service on November the 9th. They're requesting the use of the center from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That would be closing, setup and closing times. On August the 4th, the Wendell Chamber of Commerce submitted a request to use the community center. The Parks and Recreation Commission received that request and voted on August the 7th unanimously in favor of waiving that fee. The only fees that the chamber would be required to pay would be the officer fees, since there is alcohol involved, and the cleaning fee, of which neither one of those items can we waive. And tonight, Ms. Regina Harmon, the Wendell Chamber president, is also here to speak with you about this event.
Good evening. As you know, I'm Regina Harmon. I'm the new chamber president, at least for a couple more weeks. This event that we do every single year is kind of like the old coming into the new. It's a way for us to bring in people that are now going to serve your community, give the business owners in the local area an opportunity to meet who's going to serve their community, and it's just an honor to have it at one of our community centers. So if you guys do agree to waive the fee and show up, you all get an invitation, and show up, that would be great. This event, it's a lot of fun. We serve you dinner. We have a little bit of entertainment for you. This year there might be a surprise, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's a surprise. There will be cocktail hour for you to show up and, you know, have a couple of drinks and everything like that, then a good meal. It is and has been always a business meeting for our board members. It's a way for us to tell them what we've done and what we hope to do for the future. We've got a great group of new people coming on board. We've tried really hard just over the last few months to get very actively involved in the community, working with you guys on so many things recently, and we want to continue to do that. I just ask very much for you guys to waive this fee, and also to point out that we give away a lot of awards that night. So right now, you could go online and nominate somebody for the Mayor's Award. We do this every year. It's a huge honor to receive this award. I received it a few years back, and it blew me away. I was very honored by it, and anybody that gets it realizes how important it is. And I know that you can go to the town website and register for it. I think it's on the town Facebook page as well. And I know the Wendell Chamber of Commerce is sharing it also. We will be sending out to all the members of the Chamber of Commerce a sheet for them to nominate Small Business of the Year, Large Business of the Year, Volunteer of the Year, and a few other awards. And we really, really enjoy giving these away to the people in the community. So I encourage you to be looking for that. And if you're out there watching this and you want to know when the invitations are going to go out, we're going to get them out probably the first couple of days in October. There are going to be limited seats, so I would get your invitation back in quickly. I do not know what we're going to serve yet. That's going to be discussed tomorrow night. But I do know that it is always a good time, and everybody has a wonderful, wonderful time that night. So please mark it on your calendar. It will be November the 9th. It's on a Thursday night, and it starts approximately 6 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Pulaski? have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the request for waiver of the rental fee for the community center.
Okay, we have a motion to grant the fee waiver for the community center for the chamber. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is review and approval of the amended utility fee schedule for 2017-2018. Ms. Piner.
Madam Mayor, members of the board is asked to review and take action on the amended fee schedule that you have before you this evening. On an annual basis, staff does review the fee schedule and make adjustments as needed, being ready for the next fiscal year, and they usually go into effect July 1. The fee schedule was adopted at the end of June, and however, House Bill 436 has impacted the current fee structure and requires amendments to the schedule that was previously adopted. In response, the City of Raleigh Utility Department has determined adjustments to their recently adopted schedule as well. Subsequently, Raleigh City Council approved updated water and sewer capital fee structure in September. This will go into effect the end of this month and in preparation of changes for October 1st. Attached to the report is a copy of Raleigh's updated fee schedule based upon the meter sizes. In order for towns to continue collecting water and sewer capital fees for Raleigh on Raleigh's behalf, they've asked that the towns, and that includes the town of Wendell as a merger community, adopt that same utility fee schedule. Most towns have enabling legislation. The new law does go into effect October 1st. That's one of the reasons that Raleigh is moving forward with getting theirs adopted in September. However, the merger towns had the ability to continue under their prior authority until July 1 of 2018. So what that does is it does give some time to come into compliance and to take a closer look at the fees that you have in place. What we would like to do is to adopt the Raleigh fee schedule. At the same time, there are additional fees, and as you have just stated, we do have until July of 2018. Staff is working with the town attorney to review some of the other, what I would say are the town's fees, and we would like to continue that, that discussion and that review. However, that will not impact the adoption of Raleigh fee schedule this evening. It just may be that we're coming back to you in the next month or two or in the near future to look at some of the town of Wendell's fees. So we would ask that this be adopted this evening so that we could put this into effect. It could be effective September 30th so that it would be active October 1st. As building permits come in, we want this to be in place.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Piner?
This is essentially non-negotiable, correct?
That is correct.
We're
That
just
is
adopting
correct.
what Raleigh's already,
That is correct for their fee schedule.
Our obligation
that's in
to them
accord-
is that we adopt what they do, right?
Yeah, excuse me, that, I was gonna say that's in accordance with the utility merger.
Our merger agreement, yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Are there any other questions?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the amended utility fee schedule for 2017-2018.
Okay, got a motion to adopt the Raleigh fee schedule. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Item number 7 is a discussion of the policy for the weather camera. Hughes.
Mayor, Commissioners, members of the public. I bring before you tonight the weather camera policy, and we made a couple of changes that you guys suggested last time. And I'm here to answer questions.
Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Hughes about the weather camera policy?
thanks to staff for working through this and coming up with a good policy. It's going to allow everybody access to the same thing and help us comply with the law at the same time.
Now, don't we also, need to have some language about adopting a records and retention schedule? That's, I believe it's attachment B.
Yes, ma'am, we have added the records schedule that, and we'd really just fill it in, based on
Okay.
what we have.
So you all are asking us to adopt the policy and
And
to
the
adopt
records.
the records and retention disposition schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I would like to point out that the weather camera was shown on both the noon and 5 o'clock WRAL news programs today.
I see it periodically, and it makes me very happy.
I didn't know that,
Popular-
I'm glad.
Popular camera twice in one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. How about that?
Good.
Any
Madam-
other questions? Okay, go
I
ahead.
was about to make a motion.
Okay.
Make a motion to adopt the policy for the weather camera and the record retention schedule.
All right, so we have a motion to adopt the policy and the records retention and disposition schedule. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
Item number 8 is discussion and action on the draft Town of Wendell Comprehensive Pedestrian Plan.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. This is a carryover from our last meeting. We held a public hearing on September 11th, and tonight we're just being asked to bring this back up before you, see what action you may wish to take. Action could be to adopt the pedestrian plan as written, or adopting it with specific changes, or placing this on a future agenda. You do have a draft ordinance attached that would adopt it as written, but we can make any modifications that you may wish as part of any motion. The planning board did vote in favor of this. They did have one change on page 82 that I brought up at the last meeting. And at our last meeting, during the public hearing, there was some discussion about some of the intersection improvements. And so if we wanted to make any changes to that, we could. And it's just staff's recommendation that if we kind of move the order of some of those priority rankings, that we just add a footnote to note, that we move these due to, a local priority.
Right. Any questions for Mr. Bergmark?
I still will stand by my statement last time. I think the Wendell Boulevard and Old Battle Bridge Road intersection, due to not being a very heavily used crossing section, I still think moving that to the 3 to 5 years term out of the 1 to 2 years term will be my recommendation. But otherwise, I think it looks really comprehensive.
Anyone else?
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the Wendell Comprehensive Pedestrian Plan, with the note that I would like to see the Wendell Boulevard and Battle Bridge Road moved to the mid 35-year section.
So we have a motion to approve the comprehensive pedestrian plan with a notation regarding the Wendell Boulevard footnote that Commissioner Lutz mentioned previously. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 9, update on temporary signs.
Another carryover from our last meeting. Tonight, Mayor and members of the board, you're asked to just discuss temporary sign regulations, give any direction you may wish to staff. I did want to update you and let you know that the sign that we discussed at the last meeting over by Fleet Fuels across from the school, the electronic message board sign in the back of a vehicle, has been removed. Staff did go out to see what violations may exist there per our code, both the UDO and the Code of Ordinances. There were only 2 items that we could really point to, one being the frequency with which the message was changing was too quick, and the other being the sight triangle. Because of how wide the right-of-way there there is along Wendell Boulevard. The vehicle was in the site triangle despite being about a dozen feet back from the curb. So we discussed with the property owner that, this would, if any violations were issued, it would really be issued to the property owner, not the owner of the sign. And so he spoke with the sign operator and got him to remove that back on, I think it was September 12th. So that specific item has been addressed, but I did want to come back before the board and see if there were any changes, whether it's one or more changes that you wish for staff to pursue in terms of temporary signs.
Anyone have any comments?
I'd like to thank you guys for taking care of that, not only from a safety standpoint, but then also speaking to the business owner and handling from that angle versus just making it seem like an easy process. I still feel like this could be a potential issue in the future as far as not just aside from the appearance, but also just creating more work for the staff and going out. That's work for you guys, having to check frequency of signs and side angles. I'd still like to see any kind of temporary electronic sign just moved to the prohibited sign list section, and that would be my only recommendation.
So that would be to, within the prohibited sign section, list temporary electronic message board signs, so we could still have the permanent ones, but not the temporary ones like this.
Correct.
And it's my understanding that we would have to, and correct me if I'm wrong, attorney, but that we would have to take that to the planning board since that wasn't part of what we looked at last time, but we could definitely do that.
I agree.
Okay, so yeah, we can definitely take that back to the planning board. If there's any other items, please let me know and I can include that in there. If that's the sole one, then we can take that back to them and then come back to you for a public hearing to make that change.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 10 is update on board committee assignments by town board members. Start with Commissioner Carroll, the Technical Review Committee.
Did
I skip one?
The mural, the new one.
I did, 9A. I did skip it, I know it.
Do you want this?
I told everybody about it, and I skipped it. All right, 9A, I'm sorry.
I'm here for it.
I know, thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the board. Tonight, we're going to discuss about a potential mural at 235 Cook Street. Last Monday, or it's actually last Tuesday, the Appearance Commission voted 5-0 on a mural design for the side of Chocolates by Whitney. They opened up last year at the corner of Cook Street and Wendell Falls Parkway, and one of the past Appearance Commission members brought up the idea of adding a mural to that business, not only to help the business, but also just try to push the mural projects a little further outside of the core, bring some arts to an area that hadn't been brought to yet, and just try to just overall improve that area a little more. After reviewing some potential designs, the Appearance Commission worked with Lisa Gaither, who did the Clip Chicks mural, and worked with her on a design. She had recently studied 3D mural techniques with world-renowned muralist John Pugh out in California for several weeks. And having worked on this mural technique, she was really excited about trying to bring that to Wendell. Ms. Gaither provided several versions of a bursting wall that would be 3D for the Appearance Commission to look at. After reviewing all the options, the Appearance Commission voted 5-0 on September 25th to approve a design of a giant chocolate-covered strawberry man bursting through the wall. Ms. Gaither believes that this would be the first 3D mural in the triangle area. That's the depiction of what the mural would look like. There's a couple minor tweaks that the Appearance Commission asked for, but in general, this is the design that they approved. The property is owned by Wendell Development Group and is located in the DMX zone. Both the property owners and the business owners approved this design as well. If approved by the town board, Ms. Gaither intends to start the mural within the next week and anticipates it would take less than a week for her to complete. The cost of the mural is being paid by the Appearance Commission using privately raised funds, and our Appearance Commission chairman is working with his business to try to have a camera on site to do a time-lapse video for promotional purposes. Staff requested the board review the recommendation of the Appearance Commission in order to render action on the submitted application.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Has anyone asked the homeowner across the street what they think of this?
No, I can't say we have,
Okay.
but I'm sure they would love it.
I'm sure they would. It is, after all, not the first mural on that exact wall.
Yeah.
Frugal Fox had one 20 years ago, probably. The giant fox. So, good to see art coming back to that corner.
I agree.
Make a motion to approve the proposed mural at 235 Cook Street.
Okay. A motion to approve the mural on 235 Cook Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Now to item number 10. When we adjusted the agenda, I didn't stick that in the right spot. I apologize. So Commissioner Carroll, give us an update on Technical Review Committee.
There was no TRT meeting this time, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Campo is me. We held a public hearing on the 5.0 modal candidate project list, discussed the fiscal year 2016-2027, that's how far out they plan. TIP amendment number 7, discussed the fiscal year 2018-2027 transportation improvement plan, and discussed the North Carolina DOT transportation strategic plan. All just real interesting. So that's what we did at Campo last week. Item number 11 is Commissioner's Reports. We're going to start with Commissioner Carroll.
No comment.
Commissioner Lutz.
I'll just make a notice that I attended last week the open house at Wendell Elementary School. Dual purposes. One would be my children, my son goes there, and the purpose, my business had a booth there, but the PTA there had food trucks, and they had just a festivity going on. It was a great turnout. I even had somebody remark to myself that they were counselors at other schools, and they've never seen a turnout like this at an open house. And the food truck line was long, the businesses supported it, the parents were there supporting it. So I know sometimes schools get sometimes a knock, and I think that was a great sign that parents are involved, and teachers are involved, and the community got involved, and it was a great turnout. So
Nice day.
proud of them.
Commissioner Myrick.
Yes, I attended the International Food Festival. We'd just like to say thanks to the church that organized that event and to town staff who helped assist with that. I thought it was well attended and the food was delicious. So.
Good. Commissioner Boyette.
How about that Wolfpack, Mayor?
No. I'm wearing red and black today.
I'd be remiss, make sure everybody knows about it.
Beat Florida State. Where have you been? Woo!
Seemed like it did.
Did they take a lead there in the end?
I would just like to address publicly a few questions have been brought to me about campaign signs, this, that, and the other. And I would like to point out that any Wendell Town employee, any citizen, anyone living in town or out of town is free to put up campaign signs. I mean, that's one of our First Amendment rights, is to free political speech. And I even clarified it with the manager earlier, and it is absolutely allowed for town employees without repercussion to put up political campaign signs. It's their right. They're Americans first. And so I would just like to make sure that it's known publicly and everybody knows. And I'm not saying that anyone was told otherwise, but if anyone had any questions, I just wanted to make sure that everyone did know that. So that's all I had.
Commissioner Joyner.
Hey, Mayor. I was able to attend a couple events, International Festival, the Triangle Community Coalition had an event recently where I got to speak to a lot of real estate professionals. It's very nice to walk in the room and say Wendell, and realtors all turn and look because this is the new hot spot for them. And meeting with realtors that are traveling from Briar Creek and downtown Raleigh and points further to come here to sell is a nice thing. And then was able to leave that and go to the Historic Society's reverse raffle. They had good turnout there, and it looked like like a good time being had by all. Everyone seemed to enjoy it.
I'm not gonna rehash all the events. I went to most of them as well. I just want to remind you of the Harvest Festival that's coming up before our next meeting, October 6th and 7th. The Chamber's done a lot of hard work planning. There's a lot of great things that are going to happen, new things this year. I'm particularly interested in the duck call contest. I think that might be new, I'm not sure, but I think I still don't recall it from the past. And my boys do a lot of duck hunting, so that's interesting to us. They've done a lot of work, though, and the town staff has as well, and I appreciate all that, and I just hope that everyone will attend. It's always a wonderful event. It brings our community together in a very special way, and I hope that you'll take advantage of it. Do we need a motion for number 13? We go into closed session? Are we doing that? Yeah, I thought we were. Yeah.
Personnel matter. 143, 318, 1186.
Make a motion to go into our closed session, discuss personnel matter, statute 143.13, 318.1, whatever.
All right. Motion to go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, going to closed session.